All right. Welcome everybody to the overview. My name is Dr. Brimhall. I'm here in the Phoenix, Arizona area. I'm excited to be with you tonight. For those of you that have never heard of Lifevantage, today is a real treat for you to be able to chance to hear what's going on, and excited to be able to share this information with you. I've been a practicing chiropractor for over 20 years now, but I've been teaching and training physicians for really almost 28 years almost now. So I was introduced to Lifevantage as I was taking care of a little boy who was diagnosed originally with autism at 2. I started working with him when he was 3. I worked with him every week for a year. And I knew his mom was a part of Lifevantage and knew a little familiar with their products, just didn't think there was anything special with them. And then a product called Axio came out. And this product, once this little boy started taking, literally changed his life. I saw him do a 180 after 11 days of taking the product, where his life went from literally just having a difficult time expressing himself, behaving in school, to learning his letters and alphabet, to a child that now it's in a normal school and they don't know his diagnosis, literally because of the change in what these products made in his life. That caught my attention. And that opened me up to looking at what Lifevantage was and what it was creating. And so if this is your first experience tonight to learn about Lifevantage, maybe somebody invited you because they think these products could, in fact, help you or your family, or perhaps they've introduced you to this business because they want to be a part of something with you. So I'm going to give you a little overview of where this company came from and where we're headed. Really, it's to be having this conversation over a computer like this across the world really is unique and shouldn't probably happen, because this product began, and this company began years and years ago, and a young graduate student developed it and discovered a molecule known as superoxide dismutase. Now, to keep it super simple, this is the molecule inside of our cells when your body makes it. Literally is like Mr. Clean. It cleans up everything. And he spent the next 20 plus years trying to find a way to get the body to make it, or find a way to actually make something that would do what it did. And this led to the development of the little activator known as Protandim Nerve 2. And as the news started spreading throughout the media about this scientist that maybe they found something that could in fact change the way the human aged, ABC caught wind of it, and they wanted to know, hey, is this really, really true? And so they went to do an investigative report on it. And most of those investigative reports don't turn out very good, right? They try to debunk things. We're going to show, I'm going to show you a little clip of that video and come back and talk about what that's done. Now, when you watch this, this aired back in 2005. I want you to listen to the way the scientists talk about what this discovery meant to them then, and listen for the processes that happen in all of us and many of our friends and family members that they talk about that this relates to. And we'll come back and fill in the story. So keep in mind, listen really, really closely. And as you think and listen, pay attention to the people that pop into your mind. All right, here you go.
You want to get an edge on turning back the clock? Who doesn't? Well, it's no longer science fiction, but science possibility, a potential breakthrough. It may not look like the fountain of youth, but inside this nondescript building, I'm about to become part of an exciting experiment. For me, it begins with a blood test.
It wouldn't be the first time I've given blood for this company.
They want to check my levels of something called T-bars, which is a rough indicator of a person's actual age. T-bars can identify a condition known as oxidative stress, a kind of measure of the wear and tear on our bodies. Oxidative stress, like the rusting of an engine, is not a good thing. The problem of aging begins with the very food we eat to give us energy. As our cells burn that food, they also release toxic chemicals. Those chemicals, you may know them as free radicals, react with all the components of our cells, literally bombarding them millions of times per second, damaging all our cells. The result? Oxidative stress, and we all have it. The body fights back with a system of defenses. It makes 2 antioxidant enzymes, catalase and SOD, whose job is to gobble up the free radicals before they can harm our cells.
So, doctor, how often do I take these?
And so, here I go. With that swallow, I've just become part of a potentially landmark scientific experiment. It's called Protandim, and tests have already shown that it revs up the manufacture of those good enzymes in our bodies. More enzymes, fewer free radicals to harm us. Normally, oxidative stress, measured by those T-bars, increases with age, but taking just one pill of Protandim a day reversed that trend for everyone at every age, even for an 80-year-old. So just what's in this seemingly incredible pill? Well, actually, its roots are very humble. Protandim is a combination of 5 plant ingredients. Some you may know: green tea or turmeric, a spice used in Indian cooking. Others, Withania somnifera and Silybum marianum, are more exotic. High oxidative stress is associated with more than aging. It's been linked to hundreds of illnesses.
It's at the very center of many diseases: liver disease, diabetes, emphysema, asthma, all of these, strokes, heart attacks.
Even mental disease.
Yes,
Depression?
Alzheimer's disease, depression.
But what about my progress? After nearly 2 weeks now, it's time to get my results. The result? My level of oxidative stress has declined dramatically. Just look at where I fall on the graph, before and after. Have we turned back the clock? Maybe not on the outside, but deep inside within my cells. Yes, indeed.
We do know that oxidative stress is part of those disease processes. And I don't want to wait until I'm 80 years old and find out that I should have taken it.
All right. So if that's the first time you saw it, I want you to think about how much your life has changed drastically in the last 10 to 15 years because of technology. And think about what they just talked about. They talked about a process that happens in all humans called oxidative stress. So think literally like rusting. And think about what disease processes they talked about that relates to oxidative stress. If you're not familiar with these phrases, that's okay. You can go to a place called PubMed.gov, which is it's a research site where you can type in things like oxidative stress, and you can see literally hundreds of thousands of studies that link oxidative stress to the human condition, right? And then you can type in oxidative stress and maybe that particular family thing. Maybe it's like heart disease, right? Maybe your family member has struggled with heart disease or maybe Alzheimer's, and you see a lot of correlation between oxidative stress, that process, and how it relates to what happens to the humans. Okay. So when ABC came in and aired this, and the reporter had his blood drawn, you'll notice that his blood showed oxidative stress, but within 2 weeks, it dropped by 45%, right? Protandim nerve 2, that little yellow activator, turned on the switches inside his cells where literally the oxidative stress he had went back to like it was when he was a newborn, right? So the aging process relates specifically to your amount of levels of oxidative stress. So the more stress you have, the more oxidative stress, the faster that we age. So what that video, if you didn't see it back in 2005 and no one ever had introduced it to you, whoever invited you this, please thank them, because this breakthrough has the impact of changing your life drastically the sooner you start taking it. So when that aired, if you missed it, you would still not know about it, right? Now you get to know, now you get to decide what you want to do with it. So when that aired, that over $5 million in orders came in for that Protandim Nerve 2, but the company was ran by doctors and scientists. They literally could produce a small amount of product, so most of those orders went unfulfilled. But because these guys were doctors and scientists, other colleagues just found, heard what they said about oxidative stress, and they were studying that in other conditions. They wanted to study specifically this Protandim Nerve 2 in relationship to their studies. So that led to over 30 now published studies on this website showing positive effects of Protandim Nerve 2. So you look on here like places like Ohio State, National Institute of Aging, Harvard University, lots of big places. One of the things down the video he talked about, he said, we're not sure if this will affect the aging process. Well, a 10-year study was completed by the National Institute of Aging showed that Protandim Nerve 2 was the only dietary supplement proven to extend the lifespan in mammals. So let me kind of highlight a couple key things for you. So oxidative stress is the problem we're talking about. What causes that are all these things. If you live, you have oxidative stress. It's because of the food you eat, the water you drink, the air you breathe, all the things that in our environment that our body's reacting to, that causes oxidative stress. We see this all the time when we cut an apple in half, when we put it on the counter, it starts to oxidize or turn brown, or you see metal that sits out in the elements and it starts to rust. That's oxidative stress. In humans, it leads to all these conditions. So things that affect your heart, like heart disease, or skin, like skin cancer, like every process in the human body that is a breakdown process, it relates to oxidative stress. So the question is, do you have oxidative stress? Is how much do you have, and how is it affecting you? And the other question is, what are you doing about it? Well, maybe you do what most people do. They take things like antioxidants, right? Or maybe they try to eat their fruits and vegetables. That's good. What if there was a more effective way of doing that? All right, we're going to talk about that. So Protandim Nerve 2, it literally lowers this oxidative stress process 40% in 30 days, right? How does it do that? Just like the lock in your house or your car, it specifically has a key that you have. There are key switches in your cells. When that switch is turned on, it produces these big antioxidants. One of them known as superoxide dismutase, one known as glutathione, which there's a ton of the research out there right now on that. All of these reduce the oxidative stress process drastically. Protandim Nerve 2, when you take it, it upregulates the SOD molecule by 30%, catalase by 54%, and glutathione by 300%, right? And this is the only dietary supplement proven to extend life, right? It's made up of 5 plant extracts, right? Why is this a big deal? Because this opened up the concept and idea is not so much is that the ingredient, but it's the combination of the ingredient in specific ratios that have the specific effect, right? That has a vastly different impact. Because as you know, you can probably eat these things, but they don't have that effect unless they're in very specific ratios. So here's your options. You have oxidative stress right now. It's affecting you right now. You may or may not feel it. But what are you doing about it? So you can take a Protandim Nerve 2, reduce oxidative stress roughly 40% in 30 days, up to 70% in 90 days, or you can take things like oranges, broccoli, blueberries, other supplements, right? It's going to take about 110 cups of blueberries a day, right, to equal what one Protandim Nerve 2 does, right? So it's going to be much more effective to take the Protandim Nerve 2 than it is to eat all those. Now, still eat your greens, right? People ask me all the time, because my experience has been really working with humans, right? And so when I saw what I saw in that little boy, and I started utilizing these products in my practice, I watched patients and people that I've been treating for over a decade having results by reducing the oxidative stress, seeing them be able to do things that I never thought was possible for them, because their body started healing in ways that I didn't know it could. And it wasn't because their body didn't have the capacity, it just didn't have the switches turned on in the right way. Well, what do I mean by switches? Let me show you a couple of things. This process, we call it activation. The one we're talking about specifically is related to a pathway or a switch known as NRF2. NRF2, this pathway by Washington State, was called potentially the most extraordinary therapeutic breakthrough in the history of medicine. The science, right? And Protandim Nerve 2 specifically activates this pathway. Well, there's multiple pathways, right? We're going to talk about 3 of them. Nerve 2, which relates to the oxidative stress. Nerve 1 relates to your mitochondria, which are inner producers of your cells. Like, these are the power plants of your cells. When they work right, you have energy. When your cells have energy, this is what happens, okay? You get more energy. You have enhanced cellular benefits, so you have peak performance. You improve quality of sleep, all right? And faster cell repair. It produces more mitochondria and their ability to communicate, which means more energy, and it supports the chromosome. So the chromosome, which is that's the map of your cell, if that gets damaged, cells change, and that's not a good thing. Okay, then there's an NAD pathway, which is the pathway that's associated, you've probably heard about this idea of intermittent fasting, that activates NAD. All right, so with improved NAD, you have more mental focus and concentration, a more positive mood and motivation. So maybe you know a few people that need some of that. More mental and physical energy, a better inflammatory response. It helps maintain normal cholesterol levels, and it supports a healthy vascular system. What we now know is in the studies, Protandim NAD increases that serotonin activity 100% in 24 hours, right? Let me show you why this is unique and why it's different. So if this is your first idea you've heard of activation, and the idea that you can affect your genes and how they process information, then it's your lucky day. All right. So here's a study that looked at the effects that these particular products have on what's called gene activation. So think of it like this, an assembly line. I have 4 kids. All right. Each one of those kids had different talents and abilities, right? But if you gave them all the same job, they all wouldn't do it at the same rate. All right. So what we know is, we're looking at the bottom here are some genes. All right. And how much that pathway, how effective that pathway works. Right. So the gray here is the result of a gene that controls what's called antioxidants, which is the cleanup guys, and the detoxification ability of the cell. So protandim nerve 2, the one, when you take that, it increased that cell's response by 40%. When you combined it with the NAD and NRF1, it literally went from 40% to 73%. All right. Another assembly line in the body relates to inflammation. So protandim nerve 2 by itself, 50%. When you combine it with the other two, 838%. So when you combine and you improve the pathways of each of these cells individually, it's powerful. When you combine them synergistically together, it's exponentially powerful. That's not really a word. Okay. Because of that, it allows your cell to heal and repair faster. So I want you to ask yourself a question. Is your stress levels now higher or lower than it was years ago? Are you seeing more and more chronic conditions in younger and younger generations? The answer is yes. So what can we do about that? Well, you can call somebody, right, on your old phone, but think of how technology has changed these devices here. All right. So everything about technology is changing in what we can do and how we communicate. We now have the ability to know and to be specifically activating genes in our bodies that are going to improve our health. And you don't have to guess anymore, right? If you're a mammal and you take these, it activates them. So I started this story earlier by talking about an individual, this little boy I was working with. And I remember years ago, someone brought me a bottle of Protandim, and I looked at it and I looked at the ingredients and I didn't think it was that special. Just because I'm like, well, yeah, those are nice ingredients, turmeric, that's cool. Ashwagandha, yeah, that's great for adrenal, milk thistle, great for liver. But I didn't understand the concept of synergy, nor did I have the ability with my dad, where he created over 200 different supplements. Did we have the ability to test like Lifevantage was? And when I saw this little boy, who his life consisted of 35 hours of therapy a week, going from doctor to therapist, to try to get him to be able to express more of life so he could be more social, so he could be in a normal school, so he could be able to like integrate well, and still struggling a year after me working with him every week, along with a lot of other therapists, to where when he started this drink known as Axio, 11 days in, he came to my office and sat still for the first time ever. And they worked on a full 15 minutes, then went back and worked with my therapist and was doing things we taught him months earlier and doing them like he was supposed to. Never had that happen before. And I flew back to South Dakota, met the scientist, and he said to me, look, the reason why this little boy is struggling, others, is that people are struggling not because they're physically tired, because they're mentally tired. And actually was designed to drench mental fatigue, truly liquid brain food. So I started putting these products in my friends and family and clients. This is the handwriting of my nephew. He was 9 years old at the time, struggled in a lot of different ways, struggled in school, struggled in behavior. One of those kids that had to stay in at recess, couldn't stay on task to be focused once to get his jobs done. He just didn't play nice with other kids. So he's typically last to get picked in a sport, right? His mom sent me this picture 2 weeks after he started the Protandim Nerve 2 and the Axio. His handwriting on the left to the handwriting on the right. But he also went from where he got to be, instead of the last one done in class, to be one of the first one. His brain didn't functionally have time to change in 2 weeks, but it had the ability to communicate better because the body had what it needed and the cells are now communicating like they're supposed to. So every time I see this picture, I think about a little boy at 9 and what he felt like he was capable of. Not because he wasn't being taught well, not that he didn't do good students, not because he didn't have good parents, but literally his brain did not have what it needed to be activated in such a way where it could be communicating and coordinating the activity like it should. So he's having a hard time learning, retaining, and remembering. So when you just activate it with the right things in the right ratios, his perception of just even handwriting in 2 weeks had this effect. So I think every time, what does he feel like he's capable of now because of how his brain functions? And so this equates to every single person on the planet, right? What could they possibly do if their bodies and brains and cells only functioned ideally. So Lifevantage is at the forefront of what we call nutrigenomics, which is looking at specific products that we can apply with this technology to fire off the cells in the proper way to improve the health and the functionality, the longevity of the body. All right. So whether that's looking at somebody who wants to focus on health and wellness with the Proton Nerf 1, Nerf 2, or skin care, or hair care, or brain focus, or weight management, or immune health, or gut health, or even skincare products, this technology is built into them. And they're going to continue to expand. Just recently, they've launched a product known as Icy Bright, that with that focus line, what we've learned is the one sense that people would not want to lose, would I keep this one and any other one, is sight. So they developed a product specifically with this idea in mind to affect not only the visual effect of sight, but the neurological effect of sight, right? And you'll look at the ingredients, and yes, each ingredient is important, but the synergistic blend of not only this individual product, but how in which these products work together, and the companies place them into stacks. So if your focus is I want to help whole body, great. Take the whole, the bigger stack. But hey, I want to focus on eye health or immune health, great. Combine that with a few other things. Right? What this allows you to do is be specific in activating your gene's potential, or maybe you're like me, that some of you have some family history that you want to make sure that you do what you can to maximize your genes and limit the things that you don't want to show up. Well, now I have the ability personally to make sure I'm doing that based upon brand new science, based on brand new technology, and I can apply it and make it super, super simple. Well, what this has led me to personally, as I saw that little boy change and I started going out in the community and sharing this message, it's given me an ability to impact people all across the globe. And it's given me more time back. So what you can do, if this is a desire to you, as you take the products and you experience them and you like them and you say, look, I want to be a part of sharing that message forward. What we're learning even more now than ever is people are quitting their jobs because they're looking to be a part of something bigger. If you want to find something that maybe resonates with you to impact lives, that's what this was for me. Like when I saw what that little boy had, I knew I was going to share the products. I didn't know I was going to spend as much time that I have building this until I broke my knee playing basketball. And I thought, for the first time in my life, what if I couldn't see patients? My whole life, from the time I was a little boy, I was in my dad's office thinking I was going to be a chiropractor forever and teach and train physicians. But what if I couldn't? How would I still impact lives? That led me to this. Lifevantage is a network marketing company with a vision of impacting millions of lives across the globe. This gives me the ability to do that, teamed up with the right people. So for those that invited you to the thing tonight, and they've said, hey, I'd love to work with you because we want to have like-minded people impacting the world. So as you know, the world has drastically changed, not only in the last 2 years a lot, but in the last couple decades. How we communicate, how we shop, how we buy, how we choose things has all changed because of social media and other things like that. But are you using that to help other people and to impact your family positively, or are other people using that on you? Well, you have the ability to leverage your relationships and to do a positive thing in the world through this technology if you know how. So what this is, it's a great model in business. I've been a traditional business owner really since I've ever again practiced 20 plus years ago. This has allowed me to have it and run my business from anywhere, just like this now, right? So it allows us to use all the technology that's available to us, right? But to use that to impact life possibly. I just texted with somebody earlier today who lives in the UK, right? That found out about us through different things. And we have the ability now to hope maybe impact them in a whole different way because of this type of technology. So what are we doing? We're building a network of customers that want to consume the product and a network of distributors that want to consume the product and share the products, right? This is how we do it. The more we share it, the more money you can make and the more you can help other people make money, okay? And we're paid based on product that comes. So it looks a lot like this. You start with a pack to get involved in the business. And then as you help them get product and you help other people get product, you help them earn money. But here's what's fascinating to me. I've been a part of a lot of different companies over the, not companies, but businesses, and I've worked for other companies. And typically it's more of a dog eat dog type world. In this company and in this industry, you're rewarded for helping other people. So as I help train other people, right, to have success and sharing information with them about life-changing products and a life-changing business, the company rewards that individual and also me, right? No matter who invited you to this group, the company set up compensation and plans. So the top leaders of the company, they're the ones that are out there educating and continue learning and continue growing and training new people. We share in that revenue through the elite bonus pool by helping other people have success, right? Where else can you be a part of a company that's a global public traded company that as you work hard enough and you learn to help build other people up and lead other people, where you can share in the revenue since the beginning of the company? That's what that elite pool is. Okay, we're a publicly traded company, so you can look up in our income disclosure statement what people are making, and we're set up based on ranks. All right. So for instance, the Pro 3 is someone that's bringing 5,000 in volume of the group through their group a month. An average Pro 3 here, okay, makes $600 plus a month. So when was the last time you had a $600 extra a month that you could use for your family, right? That you built through part-time. That's what this can give you. Okay. Or Pro 5, someone's bringing 20,000 of volume through their group in a month. An average Pro 5, 3,000 a month. Like, who do you know that would love to add extra income into their family's life and not have to change jobs, right? To where they could still do what they're doing, but to bring that in. Or eventually you could have, as you work, you can build. I'm a Pro 7 with the company. Average Pro 7 is 13,000 a month. I hit that in 3 years with the help of many, many leaders helping me learn how to do this industry, okay, and help other people. What that's allowed me to do then is to sell my practice, to where instead of like every day going in and like managing people and trying to run a business, is I was able to have more time with my family. I spent more time with my family the last 4 years since selling my practice because of this industry and because I can impact life globally than ever could before. The individual invited me to look at this after I was working with her son. She's a Pro 9 in the business, and she'd be able to impact lives globally. Because what I've learned is in this life, like no matter who you are, where you live, is life's going to happen to you eventually. Will you be ready for that? And with network marketing, it gives you an ability to impact people's lives, generate revenue, but create some time for you and your family. So when you need it, you have it, and you set a group of people around you to support you through it. So the question I always get, can I do this? Well, number one is, do you want to do it? If whoever invited you, just let them know where you're at. Hey, I want to take the product. Awesome. Get on the product. You get it for the product to the same price that I do. Okay. Well, and then if you want to ask, can I do this? Yeah. You have the support, you have the tools, you have the training, and you have the product. It's all built in. It's just a matter of plugging into the systems. What I want you guys to do is get back to the person that invited you to this. I want you to know, number one, the products are real. These are life-changing products. Put them into your body and give it time. Where you are right now in your health, if it's not where you want it to be, it's as a result of what's been going on in your life for years and years, right? So for your body to improve that process and get your body back where it can be and improving, you got to be consistent, all right? I want you to ask yourself the same question also, though, if you're not where you want to be financially. You're the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with, right? I've loved being a part of Lifevantage because it's allowed me to impact life globally. It's allowed me a chance to grow a ton of myself and be a part of a group of individuals that are out there to positively impact the world. So I appreciate you being here tonight. Get back to the person that invited you, and we'll see you again next time. Have a good night.